I'm staring at the termination letter in my hands, and the words keep blurring together. Effective immediately. Inappropriate conduct. Loss of community trust. The paper feels heavier than it should, like it's made of lead instead of cheap office stock. My phone buzzes. Another text from Sarah. OMG, babe, I can't believe people actually fell for it. It was just a prank. Just a prank. Those 3 words echo in my head as I sit in my empty classroom, surrounded by boxes of lesson plans I'll never use again. 8 hours ago, I was Mr. Peterson, the guy who made history fun for 7th graders. The teacher parents requested for their kids. Now I'm the predator they want banned from school grounds. Let me take you back to where this nightmare started. 3 days ago, I was grading papers late into the evening when my phone exploded with notifications. Text after text. Call after call. My brother was the first to reach me. Dude, what the hell is going on? Mom's crying. She saw Sarah's post. Post? What post? I opened Facebook with shaking fingers, and there it was. Sarah's status update, posted 2 hours earlier. Just found out my husband has been having an affair with his coworker for months. I'm devastated, but I had to share this because I can't keep pretending everything is okay. Ladies, always trust your gut. The comments were already flooding in. Neighbors I'd known for years calling me disgusting. Parents from school demanding I be fired. My own mother-in-law writing, I never trusted him. I called Sarah immediately, straight to voicemail, called again, nothing. The next morning, she finally answered, and I'll never forget the casual tone in her voice. Oh, hey babe, what's up? What's up? Sarah, what's up is that you just destroyed my entire life. Why would you post that? She laughed. Actually laughed. Relax, it's just a joke. I thought it would be fun. I need to see how people react. I was going to delete it after a few hours. A few hours? Sarah, parents are calling the school. My principal wants to see me first thing Monday morning. This isn't funny. God, you're so dramatic. It's not that serious. But it was that serious. By Monday morning, the damage was irreversible. Principal Martinez couldn't even look me in the eye during our meeting. I'm sorry, David. I know you, and I don't believe these accusations. But we've had 17 parents call demanding your removal. The district has no choice. 17 parents. 17 families who trusted me with their children now saw me as a threat. As I pack up my classroom for the last time, Sarah's words keep replaying. It's just a joke. But sitting here, surrounded by the wreckage of my career, I'm starting to realize something. This wasn't random. This wasn't some spontaneous prank gone wrong. This was calculated. You know what's funny? 3 weeks ago, if someone had asked me to describe my life, I would have said it was pretty damn good. Not perfect, but solid. The kind of life you build slowly, brick by brick, until you look around one day and think, yeah, this is home. Sarah and I had been married for 8 years. We met in college. She was studying communications. I was working toward my teaching degree. We were that couple other people envied. You know the type. The ones who still held hands at the grocery store, who laughed at each other's jokes, who seemed to have it all figured out. Our house was a modest 3-bedroom in Millfield, the kind of small town where everyone knows everyone. I loved that about it. When you walked down Main Street, at least 5 people would wave and call your name. The barista at Coffee Corner knew my order. The mailman would ask about my fantasy football team. I'd been teaching at Millfield Middle School for 6 years. History was my passion, but more than that, I loved watching kids' faces light up when they finally understood something. When Tommy Rodriguez, who struggled with reading, got excited about World War II stories. When quiet Emma Martinez found her voice during debates about the civil rights movement. The parents loved me too. I'd get Christmas cards from families, invitations to graduation parties for students who'd moved on to high school. Mrs. Chen, whose daughter was in my class 3 years ago, still brought me homemade cookies every December. That was my world. Small, maybe, but mine. But looking back now, I can see the cracks I ignored. The way Sarah had started staying late at the gym. How she'd gotten protective of her phone, always face down on the table. The way she'd grown distant during conversations, like her mind was somewhere else. You're becoming boring, David, she'd said one evening, out of nowhere. We were watching Netflix, and I thought she was joking. Boring how? I don't know. Predictable. We do the same things every week. Work, dinner, TV, bed, repeat. I'd tried to plan more date nights after that. Surprised her with concert tickets. suggested weekend trips. But she always had excuses. Too tired, too busy, not in the mood. I chalked it up to a rough patch. Every marriage has them, right? I figured we'd work through it like we always did. The morning of the Facebook post, Sarah had seemed normal. She made coffee, kissed me goodbye, said she'd see me after her evening workout. Just another Tuesday. I should have paid attention to the signs. The way she'd been asking pointed questions about my coworkers. "Is Jessica still working late with you on those curriculum updates?" she'd ask, seemingly innocent. Jessica was 62 years old and had grandchildren, but I'd reassure Sarah anyway, because that's what you do when someone you love feels insecure. Now I wonder if she was already planning it then, gathering ammunition. The most devastating part wasn't losing my job, though that felt like dying. It was the betrayal. The woman I'd trusted with everything, my dreams, my fears, my future, had weaponized that trust against me. She knew exactly what she was doing when she pressed post. What I didn't know that Tuesday evening was that Sarah hadn't just posted on Facebook. She'd gone full nuclear. While I was staying late to grade papers, completely oblivious, she was systematically destroying my life across every platform she could think of. Instagram story, Facebook post, direct messages to my coworkers, phone calls to neighbors, even a group text to my own family. The story she told was detailed, convincing. She claimed she'd found evidence on my computer, said I'd been sneaking around for months, even mentioned specific dates and times, all fabricated but specific enough to sound real. By the time I got home at 9 p.m., my phone had 37 missed calls. My mom was first to call back when I frantically started returning messages. "David, honey, please tell me this isn't true." Her voice was shaking. Sarah called me crying. She said awful things. "Mom, none of it's true. I swear to you, I have never cheated on Sarah. Not once. Not ever." The silence stretched too long. "Mom, I want to believe you, sweetheart. But why would Sarah make something like this up?" That question would haunt me for weeks. Why would Sarah make something like this up? Even my own mother couldn't fathom it. My brother Jake was more direct. "Dude, if you did this, you're an idiot. If you didn't, your wife is psychotic. Either way, you're screwed." Sarah didn't come home that night, or the next morning. I called 17 times before she finally answered. On Wednesday afternoon. "Where are you? We need to talk about this now." "I'm at my sister's. I needed space to think." "Space to think? Sarah, you've destroyed my reputation over a lie. I need you to post a retraction right now." "A retraction?" She sounded genuinely confused. "Why would I do that?" "Because none of it's true. You know I've never cheated on you." That's when she started laughing. Not a nervous laugh or an embarrassed giggle, a genuine belly-deep laugh like I'd just told the funniest joke she'd ever heard. "Oh my God, David. You should see your face right now. Well, I can't see it, but I can hear it in your voice. You're so stressed." My blood went cold. "What are you talking about?" "It's a prank, you dummy. I wanted to see how people would react. It's actually kind of fascinating from a social psychology perspective." Social psychology perspective, like my career was some kind of experiment. "Sarah, this isn't funny. Parents are calling the school. My principal has called an emergency meeting for tomorrow morning. People think I'm a predator." Okay. I'll fix it." "God, you're being so dramatic." But she didn't fix it. Not that day. Not the next. Every time I called, she had an excuse. She was busy. She'd do it later. People would forget about it soon enough. Meanwhile, the story kept spreading. Mrs. Patterson from next door wouldn't make eye contact when I got the mail. The cashier at the grocery store whispered to her coworker when I walked by. 3 parents had already called Principal Martinez demanding I be removed from their children's classes. By Thursday night, I was desperate. I drove to Sarah's sister's house and pounded on the door. "Sarah, we need to fix this now." She answered the door in her pajamas, completely calm. "You're embarrassing yourself, David. Just let it blow over." "Let it blow over? I'm losing my job tomorrow." She shrugged. Actually shrug. Maybe it's time for a career change anyway. As I stood there on her sister's doorstep, Watching the woman I'd loved for 8 years dismiss the destruction of my life like it was a minor inconvenience. Something clicked. This wasn't a prank that went too far. This was intentional cruelty. Friday morning arrived like an execution date. I'd barely slept, running through every possible defense in my head. How do you prove a negative? How do you convince people that something that never happened? Principal Martinez's office felt smaller than usual. She sat behind her desk with a stack of papers, and I could see the printouts of Sarah's Facebook posts among them. David, I've known you for 6 years. You're one of our best teachers. But I have 17 formal complaints from parents, and the district office is breathing down my neck. Mrs. Martinez, you know me. You know I would never, I know. She held up her hand. I know you, and I don't believe these accusations for a second. But perception is reality in this business. Parents are threatening to pull their kids from school. The district has a zero-tolerance policy for anything that creates community distrust. She slid the termination letter across the desk. I'm sorry, David. I really am. Walking out of Millfield Middle for the last time, carrying a box of my personal items, I felt like I was in a nightmare. Students stared at me through classroom windows. Mrs. Henderson from the front office couldn't meet my eyes. But it was about to get worse. That afternoon, my phone started ringing again. This time it was my dad. Son, we need to talk. Your mother's been crying all day. Dad, I already explained. I got a call from Pastor Williams. He says people are talking about removing you from the church volunteer list. The youth group parents are concerned. The youth group. I'd been volunteering with teenagers at our church for 4 years, teaching them about leadership, taking them on camping trips, being a mentor. Now these same parents saw me as a threat to their children. Dad, you've known me my whole life. Do you really think I'm capable of what Sarah's claiming? The pause was too long. I don't know what to think anymore, David. Even my own father was doubting me. My college roommate Mike called next. We'd been best friends for 15 years. Hey man, I saw Sarah's posts. What's going on? Finally, someone asking for my side. Mike, thank God. None of it's true. Sarah made it all up as some kind of sick joke. A joke? Dude, that's pretty elaborate for a joke. Another person who couldn't fathom why someone would fabricate something so destructive. Mike, you know me. Have I ever cheated on anyone? Ever? No, but people change, man. Marriage is complicated. People change. Marriage is complicated. Everyone had a rationalization for why Sarah's lie might be true, but no one could imagine why she'd lie. By Saturday evening, I was completely isolated. My neighbor Tom, who I'd helped move furniture just last month, pretended not to see me when I waved from my yard. The coffee shop girl avoided eye contact. Even my barber canceled my standing appointment. Sarah finally came home Sunday afternoon, acting like nothing had happened. Hey babe, what's for dinner? I stared at her. What's for dinner? Sarah, I lost my job. My family barely speaks to me. The entire town thinks I'm a cheater, and you're asking about dinner? God, you're being so negative. It's just temporary drama. People will move on. When are you going to post the retraction? Retraction? She looked genuinely puzzled. Why would I do that now? It would make me look stupid. That's when it hit me. She wasn't planning to fix this. Ever. She was going to let me burn. But why? What could I have possibly done to deserve this level of cruelty from the person who was supposed to love me most? I was about to find out the answer was worse than I'd imagined. Something my students always learned in history class. When things don't make sense, you dig deeper. You look for evidence. You question the narrative. So that's what I started doing. Sunday night, after Sarah went to bed, I sat at my kitchen table with a notepad and tried to think like a detective. Why would Sarah destroy my life over a prank? Why was she so casual about the consequences? Why wouldn't she fix it? The answer that kept coming back was simple. Because she didn't want to fix it. But why? I started with her behavior over the past few months. The late gym sessions, the phone protection, the emotional distance, the sudden complaints about our boring life. Classic signs of an affair, if I was being honest. But Sarah was accusing me of cheating. People don't usually project their guilt that obviously, do they? Monday morning, while Sarah was at work, I did something I'd never done before. I looked through her things. I felt sick doing it. 8 years of marriage, and I'd never violated her privacy like this. But 8 years of marriage hadn't prepared me for having my life destroyed over a joke, either. Her laptop was password protected, but I knew Sarah. She used the same password for everything. Our anniversary date plus her maiden name. Her browser history told a story I wasn't prepared for. How to know if your husband is cheating. Signs of a cheating spouse. Pranks that go too far. Getting revenge on a boring husband. How to make someone pay for taking you for granted. The searches went back 3 months. This wasn't a spontaneous prank. She'd been planning this, but the most damning search was from 2 weeks ago. How to ruse in someone's reputation on social media. She'd researched this, like a project, like homework. I screenshot everything. Then I found her private email account, the one I didn't know existed. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through messages. Most were junk, but there was a folder labeled personal that made my stomach drop. Messages with someone named Marcus. Hundreds of them. Can't wait to see you tonight. David is so clueless. I'm getting tired of pretending to be happy. He's becoming suspicious. I need to do something to throw him off. The final message was from the day of the Facebook post. It's done. Posted about his affair. This should buy us some time while I figure out how to leave without looking like the bad guy. Marcus replied, brilliant. He'll be so busy defending himself he won't notice what we're doing. I sat there staring at the screen, and everything clicked. Sarah wasn't just cruel, she was cheating. The entire prank was designed to make me the villain so she could play the victim when she left. She was having an affair and projecting it onto me, making me look like the cheater while she was the one stepping out. But who was Marcus? I scrolled up through older messages, looking for clues. Photos, plans to meet, details about their relationship. Then I found it. A message from Marcus about changing their gym schedule because someone saw us last week. The gym. Sarah's sudden obsession with fitness. All those late nights. Marcus was her personal trainer. I'd met him once, briefly, when I'd picked Sarah up after a session. Tall, muscular, perfectly white teeth. He'd been overly friendly, shaking my hand and complimenting Sarah's dedication. Now I knew what kind of dedication he meant. As I printed out screenshots of everything, a new emotion replaced the shock and hurt. Rage. Pure, focused rage. Sarah hadn't just destroyed my life over a prank. She'd destroyed my life to cover up her own betrayal. She'd made me look like a monster while she was the one breaking our marriage vows. But rage can be useful. It can clarify things, give you energy when you thought you had none left. Sarah wanted to play games? Fine. I was about to show her what happened when you underestimate a history teacher's research skills. Marcus Williams, personal trainer at Elite Fitness, 28 years old, single. According to his Instagram, he specialized in helping married women rediscover their strength. I'll bet he did. I spent Tuesday morning building a complete profile, social media accounts, work schedule, even his apartment address. When you're a teacher, you learn how to research effectively. What I found painted a clear picture of their affair timeline. Sarah's first Instagram photo at Elite Fitness, 6 months ago. Starting my fitness journey. New beginnings. First photo with Marcus in the background, 5 months ago. Amazing session with my trainer, /motivated. First photo where they were actually standing close together, 4 months ago. Couldn't have done this without my support system. Teamwork. By 3 months ago, the photos changed. Sarah looked happier, brighter, the way she used to look at me. But it was the deleted photos that told the real story. I found a data recovery app and scanned Sarah's phone back up. The photos she'd deleted were the ones that would have made their relationship obvious. Them at dinner, at the movies, in his car. She'd been careful. Almost. The smoking gun was a photo from 6 weeks ago that she'd forgotten to delete. Sarah and Marcus at a restaurant across town, her hand on his arm, both of them laughing. The timestamp showed it was taken on a Tuesday night when she'd told me she was having dinner with her sister. But I needed more than photos. I needed proof of the premeditation. Wednesday afternoon, I called Elite Fitness pretending to be interested in personal training. I'd like to schedule a consultation with Marcus Williams. Oh, I'm sorry, but Marcus is taking a break from new clients right now. He's been dealing with some personal drama. Personal drama? Interesting. What kind of drama? The receptionist lowered her voice. Between you and me, he got involved with a married client. It's been messy. Her husband found out, and it's caused all kinds of problems. Wait, her husband found out? When did this happen? About a week ago. The client posted something on social media about her husband cheating, but word around here is that she was the one having the affair, with Marcus. It's been awkward for everyone. So even the gym staff knew the truth. Sarah's prank had backfired in ways she didn't expect. That evening, I confronted Sarah with what I'd found. We need to talk. She was on the couch, scrolling through her phone. What about? I set my laptop down and opened the folder of screenshots. About Marcus. The color drained from her face, but she recovered quickly. Who's Marcus? Your personal trainer, your affair partner, the reason you destroyed my reputation. She laughed, but it sounded forced. You're being paranoid. Marcus is just my trainer. I clicked on the first screenshot, her email to Marcus. Can't wait to see you tonight. Just your trainer? She grabbed for the laptop, but I pulled it away. David, you're invading my privacy. Privacy? You posted lies about me on Facebook for the entire town to see, but I'm invading your privacy? I clicked through more screenshots. The restaurant photo, the deleted messages, the timeline of their relationship. You've been planning this for months, Sarah. The prank wasn't a prank. It was cover. You wanted to make me look like the cheater, so when you left for Marcus, you'd be the victim. Her facade cracked. You don't understand. I felt trapped. Our marriage was dead. I needed out. So you decided to destroy my career, my reputation, my relationship with my family. I didn't think it would go that far. Bullshit. You researched it. I found your browser history. How to ruin someone's reputation on social media. This was calculated. Sarah stood up, pacing now. Fine. Yes, I'm seeing Marcus. Yes, I wanted out of our marriage. But you made me do it, David. You became so boring, so predictable. I felt like I was dying inside. So you decided to kill me instead. She turned on me, and for the first time I saw the real Sarah. The mask was completely gone. You deserved it. Do you know what it's like being married to someone who never surprises you, never takes risks, never makes you feel alive? I deserve to lose my job, to be banned from working with kids, to have my own parents doubt me. That's not my fault. I just posted one little lie. How was I supposed to know people would overreact? One little lie. My entire life was a little lie to her. You're going to fix this. You're going to post a retraction, tell everyone the truth, and clear my name. Sarah laughed. Why would I do that? Marcus and I are leaving town next week anyway, starting fresh somewhere new. Because if you don't, I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who you really are. She stepped closer, and her voice turned cold. Try me, David. I'll tell everyone you're an abusive husband, that you threaten me, that you're stalking me. Who do you think they'll believe? The poor, betrayed wife or the man who already looks like a predator? As I stared at my wife, this stranger wearing my wife's face, I realized something important. She'd underestimated me. Again. Sarah thought she held all the cards, but she'd forgotten something crucial about me. I was a T. Ocker, and teachers, we document everything. Thursday morning, after Sarah left for what I now knew was a rendezvous with Marcus, I got to work. First, I organized all the evidence I'd collected, screenshots of their messages, photos with timestamps, browser history showing her research into reputation destruction. The works. But I needed more. I needed something that would make her threats against me impossible to believe. I called my lawyer. Well, technically my divorce lawyer now. Robert Chen had handled our home purchase 3 years ago. He was thorough, honest, and most importantly, he knew me before this nightmare started. David, I saw the Facebook posts. I'm sorry this is happening. Rob, it's all lies. Sarah's been having an affair. She made up the cheating story to cover her tracks. I walked him through everything I'd discovered. He listened without interruption, occasionally asking for clarification. This is actually a strong defamation case, he said finally. She knowingly posted false information that damaged your reputation and career. The premeditation makes it even worse. What about her threats to claim I'm abusive? That's where your documentation helps. You have evidence of her affair, her premeditation, her admission that it was all lies. If she tries to flip the script now, it'll look like exactly what it is. More lies from someone caught red-handed. Rob agreed to take the case on 2 fronts, divorce proceedings and a defamation suit. But I wasn't done. Next, I called Principal Martinez. Mrs. Martinez, I know you had to let me go and I understand, but I want you to know that I'm pursuing legal action. Sarah admitted the whole thing was fabricated. I have evidence. David, I hoped you'd fight this. Send me whatever you have. I can't promise I can get your job back, but I can at least document the truth. Then I did something that felt risky, but necessary. I reached out to Marcus, found his personal number through the gym's website, and sent him a text. We need to talk about Sarah. Meet me at Coffee Corner tomorrow at 2 p.m. Come alone. He responded within an hour. Who is this? Sarah's husband. The one you helped destroy. 2 p.m. tomorrow, or I release everything to social media. Friday afternoon, Marcus showed up looking nervous. He was exactly as I remembered, tall, muscular, and now clearly uncomfortable. Look, man, I never meant for any of this to happen. Sit down. He sat across from me, fidgeting with his coffee cup. Sarah told me you guys were separated. She said you were emotionally abusive and that she was planning to leave. And you believed her? She seemed so sad, so trapped. I thought I was helping her. I pulled out my phone and showed him Sarah's messages, the ones where she called me clueless and talked about how boring I was. Does this sound like someone escaping abuse? His face fell as he read. This isn't... She told me she was afraid of you. Marcus, I lost my job. My family won't speak to me. The entire town thinks I'm a predator because of lies you two cooked up. I didn't know about the Facebook post until after she did it. She said it was just to make you back off while she figured out how to leave safely. But you didn't tell her to take it down when you saw what it was doing to me? He couldn't meet my eyes. She said it would blow over. I leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to write a statement admitting your affair with Sarah. You're going to confirm that she lied about me cheating, and you're going to sign it in front of a notary. Why would I do that? I showed him more screenshots. Because I have documentation of your entire relationship. Photos, messages, timestamps. I can prove you knowingly participated in destroying an innocent man's life. How do you think that'll play with your employer, your future clients? Marcus was quiet for a long time. What kind of statement? I pulled out a document I'd prepared. Simple, just the truth. That you and Sarah had an affair, that she fabricated the cheating allegations against me, that you now realize you were manipulated into participating in her scheme. He read through it twice. If I sign this, what happens to Sarah? Sarah faces the consequences of her choices, just like I've been doing. Marcus signed the statement. We got it notarized at the bank across the street. As we walked out, he turned to me. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Sarah made it sound like you were the bad guy. Sarah's very good at making herself the victim, I said. But the truth has a way of coming out. That evening, I had everything I needed. A signed confession from her affair partner, documented evidence of her premeditation, legal representation, and a plan. Sarah was about to learn that actions have consequences, even for people who think they're too smart to get caught. Saturday evening, Sarah came home with a suitcase. I'm here to pack the rest of my things, she said, not even looking at me. We need to talk first. There's nothing to talk about. Marcus and I are leaving tomorrow. She headed toward the bedroom, but I blocked her path. Actually, there's quite a bit to talk about. I set a manila folder on the kitchen table. Sit down. Something in my voice must have caught her attention because she actually stopped. What's this about, David? It's about the truth, the real truth. I opened the folder and spread out the contents, screenshots of her messages with Marcus, photos of them together, the browser history showing her research, Marcus's signed confession. Sarah's eyes widened as she took it all in. You went through my private things. Your private things destroyed my life, Sarah. I think that gives me the right. She tried to grab the papers, but I was ready for he. These are copies. The originals are with my lawyer. Your lawyer? Robert Chen. You remember Rob. He's handling my divorce filing and my defamation case against you. The color drained from her face. Defamation? You knowingly posted false information that destroyed my career and reputation. That's textbook defamation, and I can prove it was premeditated. I pointed to the browser history screenshots. How to ruin someone's reputation on social media. That's not a prank, Sarah. That's criminal intent. She sat down heavily, staring at the evidence. You can't prove any of this. I showed her Marcus's confession. Your boyfriend disagrees. He was very cooperative once he realized you'd manipulated him too. Sarah read the statement, her hands shaking. He wouldn't. Marcus loves me. Marcus was told you were in an abusive marriage and needed help escaping. When he saw proof that you'd lied about that too, he realized what kind of person he'd gotten involved with. The mask was slipping again. I could see the panic underneath. David, we can work this out. I'll post a retraction, say it was all a misunderstanding. Too late for that. You had dozens of chances to fix this. Instead, you threatened to claim I was abusive if I tried to clear my name. I was emotional. I didn't mean it. You meant every word, just like you meant to destroy my reputation to cover your affair. Sarah stood up and started pacing. You don't understand the pressure I was under. Our marriage was dead, David. I felt trapped. So you decided to trap me instead? Make me the villain while you rode off into the sunset with your personal trainer? It wasn't supposed to go this far. Bullshit. I slammed my hand on the table, and she jumped. You researched this for months. You planned every detail. You calculated exactly how much damage you could do. For the first time since Tian, his nightmare started. Sarah looked genuinely afraid. What are you going to do? I stood up and handed her another document. Divorce papers. You have 30 days to respond. My lawyer suggests you get your own representation because this is going to get ugly. David, please. We can work this out. I'll fix everything. The only thing you can fix now is leaving. Tonight. Don't take anything that isn't yours, and don't come back without your lawyer present. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. You're not the man I married. You're right. The man you married was naive enough to trust you. That man is gone. Sarah packed a single bag and left without another word. As I watched her car disappear down our street, I felt something I hadn't experienced in weeks. Peace. The truth was finally out. And Sarah? Sarah was about to discover that the real world doesn't care how good you are at playing the victim. Monday morning, I posted on Facebook for the first time since this nightmare began. I'd crafted the post carefully with Rob's help, professional, factual, and backed by evidence. 3 weeks ago, my wife posted false allegations about me cheating. These allegations cost me my job and severely damaged my reputation in our community. I have since discovered that she fabricated these claims to cover her own extramarital affair. I have documented evidence of her deception, including a signed confession from her affair partner. Legal proceedings are underway. I wanted our community to know the truth. I attached selected screenshots. Nothing too personal, but enough to show the premeditation and Marcus's confession. The response was immediate. Within 2 hours, I had over 200 comments. Parents apologizing, neighbors expressing outrage at Sarah's deception, former colleagues offering support. Mrs. Chen from the school volunteered to organize a petition asking the district to reconsider my termination. My mother called crying. I'm so sorry, honey. I should have believed you from the start. My father was more direct. I'm proud of how you handled this, son. Sarah showed her true colors. Even Principal Martinez called. David, I can't make any promises, but the district is reviewing your case. Several board members have seen your post and Marcus's confession. There might be a path back. But the best response came from my students. Someone had shared my post in a parent group, and by Tuesday, I was getting messages from kids I'd taught over the years. Mr. Peterson, we knew those stories weren't true. You're the best teacher ever. Can't wait to have you back in class. My mom says she's fighting to get you rehired. Meanwhile, Sarah's world was collapsing in real time. Elite Fitness fired Marcus within 24 hours of my post going public. Apparently, several clients had come forward with similar stories of inappropriate behavior. Sarah lost her job at the marketing firm when her boss saw the evidence of her calculated deception. We can't have someone with such poor judgment representing our clients, he told mutual friends. Their planned escape to start fresh somewhere new fell apart when Marcus's reputation followed him. The gym in Phoenix where he'd lined up a job rescinded their offer after doing a background check. Wednesday afternoon, Sarah called me. David, you've destroyed my life. I documented your choices, Sarah. You destroyed your own life. Marcus left me. He said he can't handle the drama. Shocking. A man who helped you cheat on your husband turned out to be unreliable. Who could have predicted that? This isn't fair. You're ruining my future. You mean like you ruined mine? The difference is, everything I've said about you is true. She hung up on me. Thursday brought more good news. The school board voted to offer me a consulting position while they investigated options for my full reinstatement. It wasn't my old job back, but it was recognition that I'd been wronged. Rob called with an update on the legal front. Sarah's lawyer reached out. They want to settle the defamation case out of court. What are they offering? Full public apology, acknowledgement of fault, and monetary damages. Enough to cover your lost wages, and then some. And the divorce? She's not contesting it. Wants it finalized as quickly as possible. By Friday, exactly 1 month after Sarah's prank destroyed my life, the scales had rebalanced. I had job prospects, legal vindication, and my reputation restored. Sarah had unemployment, a failed relationship, and a community that now knew exactly who she really was. Justice isn't always swift, but when it comes, it's often thorough. And sometimes, the person who tries to destroy you ends up destroying themselves instead. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my new classroom at Riverside Middle School, 20 minutes from Millfield. It's a fresh start in a place where people know my story but judge me by my actions, not Sarah's lies. The kids here are great, curious, engaged, full of questions about history and life. Yesterday, a 7th grader named Alex asked me if I'd ever faced something that seemed impossible to overcome. I told him yes, and that the secret isn't avoiding difficult situations. It's learning that you're stronger than you think you are. Sarah's life took a different trajectory. Marcus left her within 2 weeks of my Facebook post, just like I predicted. Turned out, when the excitement of sneaking around was gone, their relationship had nothing to hold it together. She moved back in with her parents and took a part-time job at a retail store. The marketing firm she worked for made it clear she'd never work in that industry again. Not in our area, anyway. Last I heard, she was dating someone new, a divorced father of 2 who doesn't know her history yet. I almost feel sorry for him. Almost. The legal settlements helped. Sarah's public apology was featured in our local newspaper, and the monetary damages covered my lost wages and then some. More importantly, the school district created new policies about investigating allegations before taking disciplinary action. My relationship with my family healed completely. If anything, we're closer now. My parents learned to trust their instincts about the people I choose to let into my life. My brother Jake became one of my biggest supporters, helping me move and even driving down for my first day at the new school. The most surprising development was my dating life. I wasn't looking for anything serious. Honestly, I was still processing the betrayal and rebuilding my confidence. But last month, I met Jennifer at a coffee shop. She's a librarian at the high school, recently divorced herself, and refreshingly direct about what she wants in life. When I told her my story, the whole truth, including my own mistakes and naivety, she didn't run. Instead, she said, "Anyone can fall for a liar, David. What matters is what you did when you found out the truth." We're taking things slow, but for the first time in years, I'm excited about the future. The biggest lesson I learned isn't about marriage or trust or even justice. It's about resilience. When someone tries to destroy your life, you have 2 choices: let them succeed, or prove that you're worth more than their worst opinion of you. I chose to prove my worth. To anyone watching this who's going through something similar, whether it's a cheating spouse, a lying friend, or just someone who wants to see you fail, remember this: The truth is patient. It waits. And when it finally comes out, it's usually worth the wait. Don't let someone else's cruelty define your story. You're the author of your own life. Write a better ending. And if you've ever been in a situation like mine, let me know in the comments. Sometimes it helps to know you're not alone in dealing with people who mistake kindness for weakness. Trust me, they learn the difference eventually.